What's up, man? How's Rebirth? How was Rebirth? Good so far? Yeah, I gotta give that game an honest chance. It just wasn't really, I wasn't really feeling it when I played it. Probably just need to give it more time. I don't think I really have the time to tackle a game of that size right now anyway, because Dragon Sword Awakening and, Relink Ragnarok are in, like, the next month. So, I don't know if starting that game is wise right now, to be honest with you. It's probably better to wait to play that when there's, you know, more of a dry period, meaning up until October. Phantom Blade got pushed back. I don't remember what else is coming out in September that I care about. I'll have to refresh my memory. Starting that game right now is not wise. I probably wouldn't play the third one at launch anyway. I would probably wait for mods. Especially because I don't have any nostalgia for that game, like, at all. I did play the game when I was a kid, but I didn't like it. I had the rare, elder millennial opinion of I thought that Chrono Trigger was better. Chrono Trigger certainly aged better. I ended up being partially right. Vanilla Final Fantasy VII is a great game, but it definitely aged like milk. I'm not exactly going rabid to play the new one, like, right when it comes out. I'm sure the mods will make it a lot better anyway, so I'm not exactly, I don't need to play it right away. That game's gonna be incredibly overstreamed anyway, so I probably wouldn't bother. Streaming that game would be, negative viewership. You got people that want to play it for themselves, and then it's also going to be like the only game that's going to be on Twitch in the Japanese game circles for like a month. So yeah, I'm not sure I care about playing that game frame one. So playing Revelation or whatever it's called, I mean Rebirth right now, I don't really care about.
Leave it to me. This one.
I try to not play overstreamed games because I know that people won't want to watch. It's got nothing to do with me either. I don't take it personally.
Hell yeah!
You wait that long for a remake for something like that, you don't want to watch somebody else play it. I get it, but I don't know. It will be very hard to avoid spoilers for that game.
Have you decided which one of you to die?
They're just gonna have to go on a full-on internet blackout. Some D-bag's gonna put up the spoilers, like, right away. Get an early copy somehow.
Go back to him! Finish! What you lack is this.
I only played a little bit of the first disc
Thought you'd
of
like it.
Final Fantasy VII, and I gave it back to my friend. I really didn't like the graphics, which, by the way, is not really a good way to be popular when you're a kid. Especially if you grew up when that game was new. That was not a good pro tip to being popular. It was not liking Final Fantasy VII. And I gave it a shot. I really couldn't get past the graphics. I liked the music. That was the only thing I liked about it. The truth is that that game became dated very quickly. I wonder what would have happened if they had remade that game for the PS3 like they originally planned, because that was the first time they tried to remake it, but it never happened. They basically threw everything out and started again. Probably would have had a lot less padding. Problem with the first FF7 remake is that there's so much padding. Crawling through stuff and forced walking sections to, like, pad out a game to be, you know, you're only in Midgar for, like, a couple hours, but they made a whole game out of it. And I wonder if they had put it on PS3, they probably would have had a lot more limitations. They would have had a lot more limitations. They probably would have been able to make the whole game in one installment instead of 3, but would it have done it justice to what the expectations were? I really think that they did have to wait until now. But I'm sure the hypothetical PS3 version of the remake probably would have had a lot less padding issues. A lot of people were very unhappy with the first remake. Just had glacial pacing. It was like two problems. It was like they couldn't get you out of Midgar too quickly because the PS4 couldn't handle it. And then also, you know, they had to build the game around stock PS4 hardware, which is like a small mechanical hard drive. So they have to, like, mask load times so much to get the game to even run. I guess it's not as much of an issue now because the other two games don't have that problem, but it wasn't the best first impression for a lot of people. I think some people like that, you know, the Midgar stuff happening gave it more of an impact, because it's something that was over so quickly on the PS1 version. And then also the tech just wasn't there to really show it properly, but generally it seemed like people didn't enjoy all the padding.
Mine.
I don't know. I don't envy the people who had to make those decisions. Pad the game out to 3 installments, but it really should not have been on PS4 in the first place.
Clockwork marionette lightning drill.
Felt like being on PS4 really compromised the design of the game a lot. It's not easy to make, like, a big city or an open world on a mechanical hard drive that you have to build the game around, because that's the minimum specs that you can have with a PS4. They probably regret it in retrospect, because I know that, like, the load times on the Intergrade version, the one that's on PC and PS5, were like 10 times better, which helped the pacing, even if the game itself was not changed. You don't understand the story enough? Well, from what I understand, the original one had a pretty simple story. I know very little about it, because like I said, I didn't finish the game. I only play a little bit of the first disc, but the multiverse, time janitor, ghost stuff is definitely overcomplicating it, which is what a lot of people don't like about it. I think they just wanted a straight remake, and I think that they probably would not have done that stuff if it came out on PS3 like it was supposed to. In another timeline, they released that one, and people probably still would have, like, wanted it to be remade again, but it probably would have been more faithful. It wouldn't have had all the multiverse stuff, which it seems like very few people like, but I guess it depends on how they stick the landing. Is that stuff gonna, like, fully change the story? I've heard some people say that it's supposed to, like, end up on the same path, meaning all the time janitor stuff and the multiverse stuff, like, doesn't actually affect the end of the story, but I don't know, I don't believe that. I really don't know why that was necessary. I hope that it ends up being a good decision for people who grew up with that game, because I know it's a big game for a lot of people my age, mid to late 30s, but for me it's not. Chrono Trigger actually did. I ended up being partially right. I mean, FF7's still a great game, but Chrono Trigger definitely aged a lot better. FF7 is like really dated character models, and then 15 FPS battles, which actually does matter quite a bit, because, you know, turn-based. It aged very poorly. I think they kind of waited too long. I think the PS3 one probably would have been more what people want, just, you know, higher scope, and, you know, just a one-to-one story, not changing anything, but, they didn't want to do that for some reason. Probably should have been, like, a lot of the Tales remakes, where they added, like, more context to stuff, and certain segments of the game are, like, longer. Mainly, you have, like, more context in the Tales remakes. They're obviously way lower budget than the Final Fantasy remakes. But it was nice how they didn't mess with the story too much. It was still the same story. You were given more context on things, and things that you wanted to be, like, bigger scope, they could be, because they had better hardware. But, that seems like what most people want. I guess we'll see how it ends. You know, is it going to be, like, drastically different? I mean, they already said that there's only going to be one ending, so I think that kind of makes it worse, if you ask me.
If only I could be invisible.
I think, hey, what's up, Mwagra? Yeah, go ahead, I'm off that game for the day. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do. Go ahead, I'll get her to double S3 next month. She kind of sucks at double S from what I hear. But I got more important stuff to pay for, so it's gonna have to wait a couple weeks. I'll get her to double S3. I do enjoy playing as her, but she's kind of not that great meta-wise, unless you heavily invest. But that's not gonna happen right now. Going to have to wait.
Finders keepers.
Her time stop is insane, but her damage is pretty bad, unless you're double S3. She's a very high invest unit compared to Kamui, who is completely busted even if you only get 2 copies. If you get him to triple S, he's like the best character in the game. And for some reason, Alpha requires way more investment. But yeah, I'm not able to get her to double S3 right now. We'll have to wait like 2 weeks.
It's good to keep my work.
Not playing the game much right now anyway. I'm working on other stuff. So I'm not really in a hurry. I don't think it's going to conclude anything light side. They're going to keep that going a real long time. I'll believe it when I see it. Conclude it. No, they're not going to conclude it. It's too much of a cash cow. It's just a matter of if they end it in a way that people actually want.
This would be better with some music and a bottle of red wine.
I find it really strange they're only doing... They already said they're only going to do one ending. And, like, I think if you made more than one ending, people could at least, like, headcanon what they want. But I guess, narrative-wise and with how the game is structured, it would be, like, extremely difficult. Especially, like, with how the chapter system works, how you don't, like, actually do a New Game Plus. It's more like just replaying chapters with what you already had. I think, structure-wise, doing more than one ending would be, like, really hard. But I think it would probably please people better. We'll see what happens. I don't have any nostalgia for the game, but I understand why people do. It is a very important game. Don't care for the story changes at all? Yeah, that's the funny thing about it, Mawagre, is that people who didn't grow up with it seem to really like, they seem to like the time janitor stuffs and the multiverse stuff a lot more. People who didn't, they weren't around for the original game, you know, they're younger than us, or, you know, they just didn't play it. You know, or they didn't play it all the way to completion, or didn't watch anyone play. They seem to not care about it that much, but it really should have been more like the Tales remakes, which I just mentioned before you came in, where they don't, like, massively change the story. It's more that you get more context to things due to having, you know, better tech to, you know, do set pieces and stuff. But say what you want about Tales remakes, they did a better job at respecting what the original writing was. They didn't make, like, any massive changes. It's interesting because Tales of Destiny, you know, a lot of people don't even like the sequel. They didn't even like the sequel, but when they made the remake of the first game, they made sure that, you know, the old one, you know, Destiny 2 is still canon, if you want it to be. Really, the only thing that they changed was just adding more context to things. You know, because it was like an entire... I mean, there's like 10 years between games. Between Destiny OG and the remake, so... You know, JRPGs got a lot better over that time. The Vita remakes as well were very much the same thing. They really didn't change the story that much. They added, like, the characters, but the added characters, like, don't really impact how the story is told. They're just kind of extra. So mostly they were there to promote the Triverse, but the Triverse doesn't actually exist because they didn't remake Tempest. They wage quit. But yeah, I'd say as a whole, the Tales remakes were probably more of what people would have wanted with the FF7 remake. Just more context on things, better graphics, more quality of life. Maybe like some slight changes, but overall the story is identical. It's just that you have a bigger scope and budget and better tech to tell the story, but you're not like drastically changing it. I'd say the Destiny remake is one of the better remakes that really handles that stuff very well. They knew that like Destiny 2 is not very well liked, but they didn't like make it not canon. You know, there are people who are nostalgic for that game just like people are for FF7 and stuff. They went out of their way, like, you know, if you don't like the stuff in the second game, you know, the remake kind of ends in a way where, you know, if you want it to end there, it can. But it also doesn't invalidate the sequel. I think that's probably what they should have done. But, like I said, I have no say in this war. I never really liked the game to begin with. I thought it was overrated and aged very poorly, but I do understand it's a good game. I definitely was right about the graphics. FF7 is just a product of its time. It came out when 3D graphics were progressing at an extremely fast rate, and it ended up being cutting edge for like 2 years. That game had come out in like 95, like when the PS1 came out. I think it would have had a little bit more time being cutting edge, but it really did age extremely quickly. Final Fantasy X, you know, has full-on voice acting and realistic character models, and a much bigger world to explore. Granted, it's a lot more linear, but that game was only 4 years later. I think people forget that a lot. Some people also agree with me that the game aged poorly, and I weren't really a fan of the graphics when it came out. Like, it actually did age extremely poorly, just because of when it came out. 97 to 2001, which is the amount of time it took from FF7 to 10, was a huge leap in 3D graphics, at least for video games. The movies didn't really change that much in that time period, but video games definitely did. It's not like now where graphical enhancements or advancements have basically stopped. You know, they keep trying to make photorealistic graphics, but then all it does is it barely looks different than like a good-looking PS3 game. But you need like 10 times better hardware to run it, and it's like 60 FPS when you're staring at the ground. They're kind of done with big graphical advancements for a very long time. And even if the tech gets better, the budgets for making games like that is out of control. Some of these games are costing like $400 million to make. Crazy how they keep trying to make the graphics better when there's such diminishing returns, and the performance just gets worse and worse. The games don't even look that much better. The only good thing about it is games age way slower than they used to. PS2 games still look good as long as you upscale them. Upscale them to HD, they look fine. They don't look old at all. It's not like taking any popular PS1 game and upscaling it. It's still gonna look bad. It's also gonna run at like sub 30 FPS most of the time. Or 30 FPS at the most. You need to go back to making stylized games that don't cost like $400 million in 7 years to make. But they don't want to do that for whatever reason. They keep chasing better graphics. That's why we have 300 gig games on Unreal Engine 5 that barely run. When you meet or greatly exceed the recommended specs, it doesn't even matter. I definitely appreciate FF7 for that, understanding what was possible at the time, and not trying to overshoot. That's something that we don't get anymore. And FF7 is really cool for that. I think when they were making that game, they knew that it was going to be outdated very quickly, but they still tried to make the best game they could. It's an awesome game. Yeah, the mods for Neo 3 have been very uninteresting. There is nothing worthwhile. The best is that trainer that guy made. That's like the only thing. Rest is mostly Gooner mods. It's interesting because people in the Discord say that only having Gooner mods is making the game look bad. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's the same thing with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is never going to be something a character action game fan is going to enjoy, but there are some pretty cool gameplay mods for that game, and it's just buried in a sea of Gooner mods. Neo 3 is not that bad in comparison, but it is the same problem. Nobody's really trying to do anything with like the gameplay at all. It's just Gooner mods. It really does, but man, you gotta go through a sea of bikinis and stuff. You gotta go through a sea of bikinis, because that's like 95% of the mods that people make for that game.
Fancy traps. Deuce.
I don't know, that game just didn't seem like it knew what it wanted to be. It doesn't seem like a bad game at all, but it was marketed in a very weird way. You know, it's a high-quality game. It's not like it's Kusage. It's just... They didn't seem to know what audience they wanted to go for. Did they just want to make a full-on Gooner game? Which is like, if you're just trying to make a Gooner game, then the standards for gameplay drop off a cliff.
Is it time that's flowing backwards?
Or are you trying to make a legit action game? Like, which one is it? Because it's kind of not really either of those things. You know, it's got a very... I think the marketing takes a little bit of they take some blame for it as well, as far as I'm concerned. They showed, like, very, very little gameplay, and when they did, it was like... I remember they showed that tweet of auto-scroller, and I think one of my friends said, is this the way that you're gonna market the game with an auto-scroller? People generally don't like auto-scrollers, and they're not really a good way to market your game.
Sorry.
I have everything you need right here. For the cause.
Finders keepers.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's the problem with AAA games right now. That's the problem with AAA games right now. Graphics need to look better and better. I'm like, well, if it's making it take, like, close to a decade to come out, and it needs to sell, like, 7 million copies to break even, you need to hold off on the graphic stuff. It's unsustainable. Most of the stuff I grew up with went from having a new game, like, every 1 to 2 years to, like, every 5 years. There hasn't been a Ratchet & Clank game in 6 years now. And there were like 5 of them on the PS2 alone. Think about that for a second. In the time it's taken between DMC 1 to 4 is the same amount of time it's taken since 5, and there's been no new game. There were 4 games in 7 years. 4 games in 7 years. 2001 to 2008. was 4 games. Technically 5 if you count 3 special edition, but I'm just counting mainline games. Now it's been 7, almost 8 years since 5 came out, and there's not a single game. Tales is another one as well. In the time it's been since Arise dropped, there were so many Tales games, especially from like the late 2000s. They were putting out a Tales game every year, and most of them were actually pretty decent. Some of them, like Dawn of the New World and Vanilla Innocence, are not great. And you were still getting content at a pretty consistent rate. And now everything needs to look photorealistic. You need to see the pores on the character's face and stuff. Like, I don't care about that. I just want a game that plays well, and as long as I can see what's going on, I'm fine. It used to be chased realism with what you had, but the time and money required to do it was a fraction of what it is now. So you could still get games out pretty quickly. Like, you know, a trilogy could still come out in the PS3 era. And there were plenty of games that did. But their spending has gotten out of control. That's why I mostly play stuff like this these days. There's lots of games like this coming out that haven't been in development for like 10 years and don't cost like 300 million to make, so you need basically like an entire small country to buy the game for it to even make a profit. AAA, at least Western AAA, is basically dying. I mean, I've been hearing the fiscal year is ending and the layoffs are completely out of control right now.
If only I could be invisible.
They're laying off thousands of people.
They know how to have fun around here.
They expanded way too much during the pandemic, and they didn't seem to realize that that growth was not gonna stick around forever. I mean, it's people like us that consistently play video games, and our consumption of them hasn't changed. But all the normies that like to go party and drink and go to bars and stuff, they're not playing games as much anymore. But now, they've already invested hundreds of millions into these games, so they have to finish them. But I think they know that it's basically going to release, and even if it reviews very well and it sells well, the amount it has to sell to make a profit is unrealistic. This game sold like a couple 100,000 copies. You know that they made money making this game. Because they kept their spending in check. They didn't have like 3,000 people working on this, while also having the studio be in California, which is the most expensive place to live, and some of the highest paying wages in the game industry. It's pretty much why Asia is destroying Western big budget games. They're able to make them for cheaper. Cost of living is lower, but they also know how to put out something and not have it get out of control. No, like, 7-year dev times. And then having, like, 1,000 people working on it, and they're all in LA, making, like, 6 figures. It's just not sustainable. Mawagre, I wouldn't say it drowned out the combat. There were a lot of people in the stylish action game community that were very skeptical that the game had competent combat. But, yeah, it mostly was just people gooning to it. And it's like, you know, there's... My take on it, as somebody who doesn't goon, is... If you want to goon, there's ways to do it that take less effort than a video game. It's because something's priding itself on how the main character looks. That shouldn't be the only thing that has merit. That shouldn't be the only thing that has merit. You can just go buy a porn game if that's what you want. The game in general just seemed to have an identity crisis. Was it trying to be like, you know, mainstream, generic, AAA single-player game?
Alive. Yes. Yes.
Oh, definitely. No, I definitely agree with you. But the marketing team didn't help putting out gameplay footage of auto-scrollers, which doesn't get most people to buy games. They want to see the actual gameplay.
Voice and real warmth again.
I feel like the marketing team just perpetuated that problem. They had put a little bit more effort, like, hey, this is actually a video game. This is how it plays. Yes, you can goon to the main character, but, you know, here's what it has outside of that. But they completely failed to do that from what I saw. I mean, that's pretty much every Gunner-adjacent game, though. I always ask, like... I get why people like that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with liking that stuff, but every time a game like that comes out, my first thought is always, does the game have any merit outside of being a Gunner game? Because there's plenty of Gunner-adjacent games like Oni-chan-Bara that actually do have better gameplay, and the fan service is, like, secondary to the gameplay. It's still there, but, like, the gameplay doesn't suffer because of it. But it seems like that kind of thing is something of the past now. It really is just like...
Nice find.
You can get people to goon to the main character, you're gonna make money. It used to be Gunner games didn't actually have gameplay. You know, they stood on their own as solid games, even if you weren't into that stuff. Like, you could still justify buying it.
Good bed and warm company by selling this.
Oh, did Vin's next update? Yeah, he's working on the beta right now.
This would be better with some music and a bottle of red wine.
I'm waiting for Archlord Dante to be finished. That's going to be very exciting. That's probably the biggest action game mod I'm looking for right now. Yeah, I saw the Convergence got an update. Yeah, unfortunately a lot of the game franchises we like don't have large modding communities. And like with Ninja Gaiden, there's basically one guy doing it and people treated him like dirt constantly, so he left. So now there's nobody doing Ninja Gaiden 4 mods at all. You don't treat like... You have like one guy doing the mods, treat him like gold, man. Don't treat him like garbage. I was there when he left. He deleted his server. I think that was a little bit... Not show. Fiend Busa stopped because people were making crazy demands and not offering to donate like a cent. He basically told the guy, I don't have any receipts of this because the servers got deleted. But this guy was making crazy demands. He was asking for like, I don't know what it was. Probably like full-on moveset stuffs. He basically put the guy in his place like, look, I don't do this for a job, you know. If you want it faster. Oh, you saw it? Yeah. I think deleting the server was a bit much, but he's in the right to stop modding the game if people are going to treat him like that. He doesn't deserve that. That's the other thing about these types of games too, is there's a lot of freeloaders in the community that won't give the modders like any financial compensation at all, and then they wonder why they leave. Whereas in like the Elden Ring community, people are more willing to actually support modders financially. So, you know, they can get stuff out faster. But the community for these types of games, niche action games, people historically have always been freeloaders. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about actual modders. Like, you need to do this for free. I'm like, no, they don't need to do it for free. It's not their full-time job. They still gotta grind on a real-life, you know, job or make money somehow. And, like, they're not gonna do, like, crazy demands just because you want it. You know, if you want it that badly, then support them. Modders have every reason to wage quit if they get treated like dirt. I side with the modders. Yeah, I know that he's done too. I don't blame them, honestly. Ninja Gaiden community is very immature. Will straight up, like, flame you if you even say that you like Ninja Gaiden 4. It's like, well, can't you see that maybe the changes they made, some of them were actually good to get new people into it? The fact that bosses don't randomly get out of hit stun, that's a good thing. Being able to animation cancel is a good thing. And it definitely did get some people to play it, but if you say that, some of the older Ninja Gaiden players will be like, oh, your opinion's wrong. I'm like, well, they bought the game. I mean, yeah, it is a gray area for sure. But unfortunately, when you don't have people that have organic interest in making things, unfortunately the main way to get people to do it is to give money. I mean, that's literally the reason why Marvel 3 has like 60 modded characters now. Because somebody who had money put up a bounty for it. I think people often forget that part as well. Some of these games are not easy to mod. They're on like proprietary engines. You're not really going to get people super excited to reverse engineer an old-ass engine to make, like, this crazy mod. You know, if you put up money, it's not guaranteed, but you have a better chance of getting it. And the Ninja Gaiden community did not understand that. You don't have dozens of people making mods for character action games in general, compared to something like Elden Ring, where there's, like, dozens. You know, you should treat those people right. If they tell you, like, look, if you want this and you want it faster, you need to give me some money, and you complain and they leave, I mean, whose fault is that, really? No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. Yes, those characters are made for free. The reverse engineering that allows the games to load those characters was not free. It was a bounty. It was a 10k bounty. So yes, while the characters are made for free and they've never been paywalled, the only reason that stuff exists is because of the bounty. And that guy had to basically reverse engineer the game and make it so it could load more character slots. And then the tools as well. I don't know if the tools were you know, it was a bounty, but the whole basis of how that stuff works was a bounty, and it was 10k. So the guy who did it lived pretty comfortably for a while, I guess. Well, when a community has very few active modders that actually still want to make stuff and they get treated like dirt, and people can't stop freeloading and they complain about them wanting at least a little bit of money, then I don't really feel bad when those people leave. I think they have every right to leave. For instance, the DMC community. I know that Waza, the guy that's making Dreadstorm Virgil and Archlord Dante, he literally said he needed to put up the Ko-fi because he had university bills to pay. He had to pay for college, and he needed to raise money quickly. He raised the money. He's made decent money making that mod. Not enough to turn it into a living, but it got him out of his situation, right? And you look at the Ninja Gaiden community, and this guy is crashing out because the modder basically tells him, if you want it faster, then pay me. It's such a huge disconnect. Waza was up front like, look, I need this money for university. I'm going to put the update up, and I'm going to put it on the Ko-fi. He made the money. He needed that money. It was for important stuff. It just depends on the community, really. And unfortunately, a lot of these niche action games have a metric ass ton of freeloaders. Even if, like, I mean, sometimes the what happens is the modder doesn't even want money, but they still get treated like dirt, and people ask insane demands of them, and, you know, they don't understand that, you know, they're doing it in their free time, and it's not like the main thing that helps them survive. You know, it's like supplemental income at best, if anything. I know that the Convergence guys basically said that they didn't feel right about paywalling the update. I'm like, that's pretty noble, because you could definitely make a lot of money doing that. Even if it was only like $10. If it was only $10, they'd be living pretty comfortably, but they literally said they didn't feel right about giving Patreon backers early access to it. Like, that's pretty cool. Well, I think the thing with Elden Ring is why people want to charge is not inherently greed. I think it's more that the engine is a nightmare to work with, especially when people want merges and stuff. People want merges and stuff. Like, it is not easy to do that. So I can understand why people would want money to do it, because it's like takes significant amount of time, and that's time that they could be using making money some other way. Uh, but yeah, locking stuff like Golden Age but behind a Chinese Patreon uh, that you can't even access. You can't even give that guy money if you want to. And then apparently he doesn't like his stuff being pirated. It's like, well, why don't you at least have like somebody else, manage a Patreon with the mod on it so that more people can like legally pay for it. But yeah, the Elden Ring situation with the paid mods is definitely not black and white for sure. Really, it does? Well, I do think that that's still kind of more hoops than most people want to jump through. That's why people keep uploading it to Nexus and then it gets deleted. I don't know, messing with that engine seems incredibly difficult, so I could see why people would want to charge for it, but yeah, it is. It's a complicated situation. It's not something that you can easily, solve. Alright, do I feel like doing anything else? I'm leaning towards no. You don't want to pay for it? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I don't have a lot of money. I will gladly support a modder if they're doing something as crazy as Waza's doing, where he's basically added, like, dozens of moves to DMC5. I'm willing to pay for it. I will do that instantly. If they're reputable and they actually give you what they say, like, I'll pay for it. And I'm glad that people came through for him when he's like, look, I need money for university. This isn't just me trying to line my pockets. Like, I need this money to continue my education. He got the money. He made something that was worthwhile. I'm cool with that, personally. But it greatly varies from community to community. If somebody's modding the game like crazy and adding all this crazy stuff to it. Yeah, the Golden Age mod costs nothing. It is not expensive. But see, the problem I have with that is why monetize it at all at that point? He's got to have, like, thousands of people buying that for it to be worth his time. It's like, why is it paywalled at that point? if he wanted to be, like, supplemental income, if bills are more expensive or you have, like, an unexpected expense, IRL, I don't, like, why would you only charge $150? That's what I don't understand about it. Because I actually got it from the guy that makes Overrider. He actually got it for me because he's actually in China. He's in Taiwan. So it was an easy process for him. Is it really enough, though? It feels like he could charge, like, $5 equivalent and he would be living a lot more comfortably. But I don't know how much money that guy has. I just find it strange. Charge so little. Maybe he's, like, very well off. and he doesn't really need the money. You never know. Maybe he's got a very good, high-paying job, and he's actually like a game developer, but he doesn't disclose it, and he's living pretty comfortably, so he doesn't need to charge more. But who knows? Never gonna know that until he, There's a $5 Patreon that just makes small mods that makes $3,000 a month? No, I didn't know that. That's crazy. That is news to me. I did not know it was that crazy. I'm used to just mods where you pay a couple bucks and very few people want to pay for it. So then eventually the modders dip. That's what I'm used to. Hey, good for them. That's cool. They deserve to be paid for their work. I wish the communities I was in had stuff like that. Well, I think he's undercutting himself. I'll say, I don't know the guy's finances. I don't know how comfortably he lives, but I do think that he's undercutting himself a lot. Because that mod is pretty expansive. It adds a ton of stuff to the game. As somebody who also makes things, I think he's undercutting himself way too much. You never know, maybe it works. I mean, it works in MMOs, right? You go on the auction house, and you put something like 100 gold cheaper than everybody else, it sells out instantly. You know, we're just engineered to do stuff like that. Even if it's not like a huge discount, just the fact that it's the cheapest will get people to buy it. Who knows? Well, if there really are thousands of people downloading it, then I'm sure he's living comfortably.
Select your fighters. Akali. You select. A battle for the ages is about to begin. Ready. Let's go.
Well, I mean, the appeal of Convergence is way bigger, because it doesn't, like, change the combat that much. Vins is more for people like us that don't like FromSoft games vanilla. More Team Ninja fans. But hey, that's what's great about Elden Ring community, is there's so many different ways that you can mod the game. Whatever you like, there's a mod for you. That's pretty cool.
KO! Punch.
Yeah, I think the thing about Elden Ring is that it proves that having a proprietary engine doesn't stop people from being able to do it. It really comes down to, do people actually want to do it? And unfortunately, in a lot of niche action games, there's like 3 people that want to do that, and they stop for a number of reasons. You know, Fraggin, people treated him very well. People treated Fraggin very well, but he was up front, like, you know, I have to work on my real-life job. I don't have time to, you know, commit to this constantly. You know, I sent him money. Some other people from my community did as well, but it wasn't enough to, like, change his life, you know? That's why in these small communities we need to treat the few modders that we have better, and don't treat them like dirt, because then you can't be surprised when they leave. Fraggin is the guy that made the, he made the Warriors Orochi and Dynasty Warriors 8 mods, the Z mod. The mod that gives you 120 FPS and removes the affinity system, and then all the mechanics changes for Orochi 4. He hasn't been around for like 2 years now. But luckily it wasn't because of people treating him like dirt. It was just like, IRL, he couldn't do it anymore. I don't think he got well known enough to get weirdos like Fiend Busa did. And mostly level-headed people. His Discord was never as popular as like an Elden Ring mod Discord server. There's only a couple people in there. I'm glad he was treated well. I sent him some money, some other people did too, but
Select your champion.
I guess his IRL situation doesn't really allow him to commit so much time to that stuff, which is fine. He put those games in really awesome states before he left. And luckily the mods haven't broken by updates or anything.
On the run back. My time. My time. Smoke.
I think I'm gonna go to bed. At the very least, I need to eat and take my meds. I might come back in a bit. Take a break. I'm starting to get hungry again.